Good morning, friends. Nice to see you today. It's Miss Robin here at the Denton Library. Hope you were able to see the video last week where I had a friend named Riley come and bring her two of her chickens to the library, Dory and Chickarella, and we had a great little conversation, got to see the chicks, and she told us about them. So if you missed that video, you can go back to last Wednesday's and view that. So to follow up or kind of finalize that thought of chickens in the library, because Friday the 19th was National Poultry Day, I wanted to kind of read a book today because it's a book I really like. And then we're going to switch over into the topic that I had listed for our program called Life Hacks That Kids Can Do. And we'll just kind of switch in midstream here. But let's start out with our book. It's called The Perfect Nest, written by Catherine Friend, illustrated by John Manders, and Candlewick Press is the publisher. The Perfect Nest. Riley, I hope you're watching. And thank you very much for your visit with us last week. You know, I've told you before that sometimes pictures before the text or the words begin can give you a clue or hint as to something in the beginning of the story. So here's just a picture, The Perfect Nest. Jack, the cat, gathered together everything he needed. Then he built the perfect nest, dry and cozy and just the right size. But the nest was not for Jack. With his perfect nest, he would attract a perfect chicken who would lay a perfect egg, which would make a perfect omelet for a cat like Jack. What's an omelet, Susan?
Eggs.
Eggs made into like a breakfast dish. Okay. Soon enough, a chicken came along. "Ah, caramba," she said, "a perfect nest." And she hopped up and laid a small egg. Then a duck waddled by. "Sacre bleu," she cried, "the perfect nest." The duck pushed the chicken out, hopped up, and laid a medium-sized egg. Then a goose lumbered by. "Oh, great balls of fire," she cried, "a perfect nest." And the goose pushed the duck out, hopped up, and laid a large egg. Jack's mouth began to water. 3 eggs would make 3 omelets. But then the duck leaped onto the goose's back. "This is my nest!" And the chicken flew onto the duck. "No, this is my nest!" And the 3 cackled and quacked and honked, but each refused to leave the perfect nest. They squished each other for days. Well, each day Jack tried to get the birds off the eggs. "Fire! Fire!" he cried. They didn't move. "Flood! Flood!" he cried. They didn't move. "Wolf! Wolf!" he cried. But the chicken, the duck, and the goose would not move. Finally, Jack stood before them. "You birds are so silly. The next farm over has an even better nest, and it's empty. Why doesn't one of you use that nest?" "An empty nest?" cried the chicken. "Without a goose to sit on my head? Ah, caramba!" "Sacre bleu!" cried the duck. "I am tired of smelling like the chicken. That nest is mine." "Great balls of fire!" cried the goose. "Out of my way!" And they flapped away. At last, Jack was alone and returned to the nest and peeked inside. He arranged the eggs neatly in a row. Small breakfast, medium lunch, and large dinner. Jack's stomach rumbled. But then...
Is that a pillow?
He's made a perfect cozy nest. But then, crack! The small egg broke, and out popped a wet baby chick who looked up at Jack and said, "Caramba, hola, mama." Crackety snap! The medium-sized egg broke open, and out scrambled a wet baby duck who looked up at Jack and said, "Sacre bleu, bonjour, maman." Crackety crack, boom! The largest egg broke open. leg broke open and out stepped a wet baby goose, who looked up at Jack and said, "Great balls of fire! Howdy, Ma!" Jack stared at the babies. What was he to do? He couldn't make omelets out of them. "Dry me, dry me, dry me," cried the soggy baby chick. "Feed me, feed me, feed me," cried the hungry baby duck. "Play, play, play," cried the excited baby goose. Well, Jack hid in the barn. The 3 babies found him. He hid in the woods. The 3 babies found him. Jack hid under the tractor. The 3 babies found him and dragged him back to the nest. "Sleep, sleep, sleep," the tired babies finally whispered. "Cold, cold, cold," said the shivering babies. Jack scratched his head. Someone had to care for these babies, but there was no one else around. Jack lifted all 3 babies into the nest. "Buenas noches, Mama," said the baby chick. "Bon nuit, Mama," said the baby duck. "Sweet dreams, Ma," said the baby goose. And then Jack climbed into the nest, and the babies fell asleep. And that's when he realized that this really was the perfect nest. Great way to end last week's session, isn't it?
Perfect.
All right, thanks for listening to that. And now I'm going to do a switcheroo here and talk about hacks. What are life hacks? They are like clever tricks or tips or techniques or shortcuts that make tasks or jobs easier, quicker, maybe less expensive, not always, but maybe, and it certainly makes them more fun, I think. So if you've got a job or a task to do, maybe you can come up with a hack to make it a little easier, quicker, more fun. We have books in the library, and I've got one on order that'll be here soon. It's Life Hacks for Kids. You'll enjoy checking that out. But life hacks are in all areas of life. There's even life hacks for gaming. We have all kinds of gaming books that give you tips and tricks about how to play the game and be successful at it. Here's one on Minecraft, Essential Handbook. Now these books are in the children's, young adult, and adult department. Maybe your parents would like to check some out. Who Knew? 10,001 Household Solutions. Mainly for adults, but you could use some of the hints in here. It's on all different subjects: pet solutions, home improvement, laundry, how to use duct tape. And then there are cooking hacks. Here's a book from the adult department, Mad Genius Tips, over 90 expert hacks plus 100 delicious recipes. And then here is a book in the young adult department on hacks using a waffle iron. How you can take a waffle iron and come up with all different types of things. All right. So you get the idea. And let's move on, and I'm going to show you some hacks. First of all, I'm going to show you some pictures of some hacks, and then I'm going to actually demonstrate some. Here's a picture of a way to make pancakes. If you want to squirt out a design to make your pancake, maybe your initials or a picture or something, you can take your pancake batter. And I know some of you are starting to cook now or even heat up things and make some simple meals. Even though you're elementary age, you're doing that already. So these will be some good tips for you. You can take your pancake batter and put in an old squirt bottle, such as a ketchup or mustard bottle, and that way you can squirt your pancakes onto the pan using the squirt bottle. Now here's someone who was just way more creative than I am, and their creations with a squirt bottle.
Yeah, that's Sam making pancakes.
Yes,
right
there you go. Oh yeah, there you go, Sam, making some pancakes. But here you could just do your initials or something, a simple picture. But I thought that would be fun. Yeah. Now, if you want to organize your room a little bit and you get a hanger, maybe you have a wooden hanger, and I guess this maybe is more for girls, or girls wear jewelry a little bit more. They've taken a wood hanger and they've screwed little screws into the bottom of it, hung up their jewelry that way. If you girls have necklaces or bracelets that get tangled, this would be a good way to organize those.
That's a good
Your
idea.
parents can help you get started with that. All right. Anybody could do this. I think guys wear hats more often. You wouldn't even need help with this. You could have any type of hanger. And you know, you can find old shower rings. Sometimes if your mom puts a new shower curtain up, or you can find a whole pack at the Dollar Tree for $1. And I just thought that was a great way to organize your hats. Get them off the floor so Mama quit yelling at you. And it keeps them nice too. All right. One more, and I just like this one. I might start using it at home. They have taken a tennis ball and made a slit in it. And I suppose they've gone through the mouth and maybe put a screw into something. Or maybe they just hung it up with a sticky strip. But they slit a tennis ball, and look what all they're using it for. To help organize things. Isn't that cute? They've added some eyes. You could do that. Draw on some eyes or use a sticker.
Is that a towel in the middle one?
It is.
That's a great idea.
A little
for
hand
a
towel.
bathroom.
Yeah, it is. And what a fun way. Now, you girls who wear tank tops in the summer and spring a lot, sometimes your straps keep falling off. Well, here, take an old hair barrette and have someone go behind and pull the straps together to keep them up. And it's kind of pretty, too, with a little hair barrette. Not like a safety pin that shows. All right, great ideas. All right. Now, I'm going to demonstrate some hacks for you this morning, and we'll see how they work out for us. Talking about chickens, let's start off with an egg. If you're working in the kitchen with someone and your mom says, can you crack me some eggs? But for this recipe, I need you to separate the yolk, which is the yellow part, from the whites. An easy way to do that. I mean, you can crack your egg and look, I do go back and forth and save it out, but it is a little bit harder and sometimes your yolk breaks. A quick way to do that is to take an empty but clean bottle, like an old water bottle, squeeze it a little bit, and then place it over the yolk and let go.
Oh!
And voila, look. Your white is still in the bowl, but there's your yolk.
I'm using
and
that.
Then you can let it come out into. Oh, is that not cool? I like that.
That is very cool.
All right. That was an egg from Miss Susan's chickens. Thank you. Thank you, chicks. All right, and then you have your white that you can use to whip up to make meringue or whatever you're making. All right, one more. Well, another kitchen hack. We've got several kitchen hacks. Like to eat strawberries? I do, and they'll soon be ready from the local farmers. One way to take the cap off of strawberries is just to cut it off or pick it off with your thumbnail, which is what I do a lot. Another way is to take a straw, and it needs to be kind of a stiff straw. Go up through the bottom of the strawberry toward the top and keep pushing. And look, it pushes the cap off.
It sure does.
Yeah. And then you've got your strawberry to eat. So a straw and a strawberry, push up one more time till it just pushes the cap off. Isn't that cool? Now you've got a strawberry to eat.
It is a good thing we woke up this morning.
All right, those are 2 kitchen hacks. Let me walk over behind Miss Susan for one more kitchen hack, and then we'll go to some other things. Sometimes when you're cooking and you want a recipe to sit beside you, the pages keep flipping or it gets dirty with food on it. That's what I have a tendency to do, spill food on it. Now, this does not work with a big, thick cookbook. It has to be a thin cookbook. Or what I use a lot is just a page. But you can take an old pants or skirt hanger while you're cooking and just hang it up on the cabinet below, like where you're cooking, and it holds your recipe. Or, of course, you could just hang your paper up and not your whole cookbook. But I thought that was a little great way to keep it where you can view it and to keep it clean also.
Great idea.
Hang that up above your work area on the cabinet. All right, I'm just going to do a random collection now. I keep this in my purse most of the time. It's a little small measuring tape. But I have found myself before in a store where I wanted to measure something, and it's like, oh, I don't have my measuring tape with me. Well, there are certain ways you can kind of get an estimate or approximation, something that's about right, to show you how long something is. If you take a bill, doesn't matter what denomination it is, here's a dollar bill, and you want to measure something, a dollar bill from side to side is almost just a little bit short of 6 inches. So you can get an approximate idea. Here's a napkin just laid on the table. So I could say 6 and maybe a half inches. That would give me an idea. Let's see what this piece of paper maybe is. Okay, there would be about 6 inches, and half of it would be 3, so maybe 2 more inches, so maybe 8 inches, 8.5 inches across. It just gives you an approximate idea. But most people have a bill with them, and so you can get an idea of how long something is, but if you just have a dollar bill. Oh, wow, if you ever went to pull off a piece of tape and you cannot find the end of it, and you mess and mess and mess with it. I have done that. So, what I can do now, bread tabs or paper clips, I just stick those on the end. And now I know where my end of my tape is always. So a good use for those bread tabs. Now if we could just come up with something to separate those bags in the grocery store produce, that would be great. All right. Sometimes someone has one of these eyeglass cases laying around the house that they don't use anymore. And a great way to use those is when you're traveling or in the car or just at home. You want to store your earbuds or your charger. It is a great place to stick those to keep them in your purse, in a bag, or a suitcase or whatever. Keep them dry, keep them clean, and you know where they are. So you could use those at home or when you're traveling. By the way, if you come up with any great uses for any of these products that we're demonstrating today, please post them online. I'd love to see those, and I know other people would too. All right, I think we have one more, Miss Susan. Sometimes you have a runny nose or a cold, and you just have to keep using a lot of Kleenexes. Well, here is a hack that I like. You can take a Kleenex box that has Kleenex in it, and then an empty Kleenex box, rubber band them together. You can even put sanitizer on it if you want to. But as you use your Kleenex and blow your nose, and of course it's dirty, you can use the empty one as your little trash can. And there you don't have to walk and find a trash can. And of course you can clean your hands also with your sanitizer at the same time. Handy, quick, you can leave it beside your bed, wherever in the house. So, I think that looks like it for today, Miss Susan. I know a lot of you are growing up and you're getting older. You're becoming more independent and wanting to learn to do things on your own. And these are some tips that would help you with that. And you can share them with your family also. All right, before I close today, say goodbye, I want to remind you that this Saturday, March 27th, from 12 until 2 p.m., Denton is having an extravaganza, Easter extravaganza, where you go to the Harrison Park beside the post office and get a map, and it shows you different businesses and locations in Denton to travel to get an Easter goodie bag. They're bunny stops, and you go around to the different stops and collect goodies for Easter. The library is one of those, so we look forward to seeing you Saturday, and again, that is from 12 to 2.
I think we do have some of the maps here too.
Oh, okay, great. All right. So that's it for this week. I hope you all have a wonderful week, enjoying spring. Looks like we're going to have some spring weather. I love this time of year. So, bye, friend. Have a good week.